So I'm heading over to the metal shop, drop off some washers that I have surplus of, and they grind both sides and then they bolt them all together, and that's how I extend the poles on those 4x4 motors, which I'm getting some made right now. But something came up. I wanted to talk to you guys about perfection and develop that idea that I was talking about, where basically I said no more collectors, no more people that are perfectionists. The problem with perfection, or even the idea or the strive for perfection, is when it's burdened upon other people to be fulfilled. And you also have to have some awareness that maybe your own ideals might be out of whack, or you may not have enough money. So it is super easy to just be the rich turd, someone that has too much money and they get it for nothing and they just make demands on everybody. If I remember right, that reminds me of Little Lord Fauntleroy, which is a really old movie, but it's just a little like Joffrey, I guess you would call it. Don't be a Joffrey. But there have been a couple of clients that I've had that have been like that, and I made the mistake of putting up with them because I wanted the money, and that's always a mistake. So just so you know, and that's why typically I turn those guys down, is because they want something that doesn't exist. But the biggest problem about perfectionism, which it's fine if you want to watch, or if you want to have perfection in your own life, you'll end up driving yourself crazy. But again, you're not bothering anybody as long as you're, fulfilling your responsibilities and taking care of your kids or your family or whatever you're doing, whatever you're committed to. But the biggest one is just having those demands on other people. And, what does perfection mean to you? Does that mean, the biggest one that I've experienced with when people that say they don't like my work, they say, oh, you have glue drips. Glue drips are horrible. And I was like, well, every brand that I've ever looked at and dissected has had glue drips. So it's not the glue drips. What it really is people's expectations on perfection and how they burden other people with that. Don't do that. And the way that I've described that is when I say, lower your expectations and you'll be much happier. Some of that is that. So, but it's also being self-aware of your ridiculous OCDs, your obsessive compulsive disorder, in which, look at this. So this is something I don't notice and I don't care because I've been able to manage mine. This dash is super dusty. So this is even left-handed. Look at this. Look how fucking awesome I am. Ooh, left-handed. Look at that. I also jack off with my left hand, so maybe that's a little practice, but I've been able to manage my OCDs, and I've become much, much more powerful than I used to be. The old me from, say, even 10 years ago, I am way better than that guy. Way better. And really, the only competition that you have in life is with yourself. As soon as you start to fucking whip out your dick and look at the other guy at the urinal, what you don't realize is that you're the creep. Stop looking at other people's dicks. Unless you're in a gay bathroom, then whatever, that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But in most applications, in most situations, that's first of all, that's inappropriate. Second of all, you're asking for trouble. And then third, if you actually compare yourself to other people, it's a mistake. That's a death wish. You're going to that's the path to destruction. And I say this because I've been there. I've looked at other dicks. I've looked at other dicks and I've seen other dicks. And again, those dicks don't matter. The only dick that matters is you. So, and then you have to ask yourself, am I the kind of dick that, wants to fuck everybody and fuck everything? I don't want to be that kind of dick. And that's when I just go, you know what? Let's do a light switch. Let's be a button. Let's be an acorn. And then nobody looks at you and everybody makes fun of you. And I go, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So, and what was it? Joe Coy talked about this in one of his specials. If you haven't seen the Joe Coy specials, I ignored them for a long time because I don't know. I just get annoyed with straight men with bald heads because I'm one of those guys. But he's actually really good, except for the last one. But again, it's still a lot better than some of the other Lisa Schlesinger or whatever her name is. I don't she's fucking annoying. Anyways, some of the Joe Coy stuff that it talks about, and one of the conversations that he's having with the audience is that his son finds out he's got a small dick. And he goes, yep, you're my son. You got a small dick. It's like a 3-incher. Small dick. Guess what? That's all you need to hit the clit, and that's all you need to make a baby. So is it fine? Yeah, evolution says it's fine. So what I really love about the Joe Coy special is the way that Joe embraces himself. Like, for you to punish yourself, what are you doing? That's so much energy and time wasted on nothing. It achieves nothing. Stop punishing yourself. And I don't want to go to the other side, which is where Oprah's like, you need to love yourself and ignore your kids. Calgon, take me away. No, you don't need to do that. But you certainly don't need to punish yourself. There's no need for that, especially when it's things that are just you. So if you haven't seen it, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, it's fantastic. It's more accurate to the book, and you're going to see real quick why Disney decided to edit out a lot of the fascism of that time. And it's just a really heartwarming story. It's very great. And if you listen to Jordan Peterson at all, you'll realize that the story of Pinocchio is vital for having any sort of order in our society. And really what that is that you want to become a man. You want to become a real adult. And the way you do that is you sacrifice and you help others. And that's all I tell you guys to do. Anytime you guys feel sorry for yourself and you're like, oh, I don't have the money to do this, blah, 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 blah. I go help other people. Excuse me. Go help other people. That's what you're missing in your life, is you're missing out on helping other people. Do whatever it takes. Be involved in your community. Look out for other people. Care for other people. That's the biggest one, is have shits about other people in the first place. Even if you don't mean it at first, at least the gesture is there and it's nice. The other thing that I like about doing for other people is you quickly learn who is your ally and who is your enemy. I was telling this to my wife because my wife hasn't learned this yet. Is like, what was it? The issue that came up was, ampersand. So ampersand is the and symbol, whatever, whatever. It's kind of a weird squiggly. I watched a video on it, and they give you the history, and I learned a lot, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. The biggest thing about the ampersand is mispronouncing it. And so I pulled her aside, and she mispronounced it. And I said, you might want to do your research on that and just, look it up, and just so you know how to say it and you know what it is. That's doing your part to not embarrass yourself in a common discussion with other people. Now, does it help that if you're, pliable and you're willing to learn and you can laugh at yourself? Of course, but most people don't do that. So the best thing you can do is be responsible and just research basic stuff that you did not learn in school, that you were sick that day or whatever the fuck it is, whatever the fuck your excuse is. Learn basic stuff like that so that you don't have a faux pas. Now, what's great about faux pas is you learn something, and the embarrassment should teach you something. That's what it's there for. That's why it's embarrassing. I was talking to Sherry last night about, she got to see Everly, which was really good. And Sherry did not want to see Everly without me. And I go, no. See her without me, because that gives her a reminder of the wonderful joy that she had when she was with us. I go, even if I'm not there, I'm willing to easily sacrifice my time with her to give her a better life. And if it's Sherry has to do it alone, then Sherry does it alone. That's fine. I don't give a shit. My concern is the child, not me, not my ego. That's dumb. So, but one of the things that Sherry talked to Everly about, oh fuck, I just lost my train of thought on this. Hang on real quick. Well, I can't remember. The thought is gone. I was trying to hold two thoughts in my head at once. So there's a big empty space in there. The thing that I really wanted to talk about as well is I asked Sherry, how did you manage your time while you were in the car with her, while you were alone with her? What did you do? What did you share? And one of the things that she did share was a picture of me holding her to help remind her of that time. And I think she played a little bit of game. I think she was a little embarrassed when she saw my picture. She did remember that I was bald, and which I don't care. But the important thing is to remember the joy and the love and the fun, good times that we spent with her. What I realize in my wife's family is that their family bases value on loyalty, not on doing the right thing, and not on doing what is healthy. To them, if you put up with someone else's bullshit, that is how they measure love, which is super dysfunctional, super gross. And I was letting Sherry know last night that I had it with her whole family. Like, I'm the best thing that ever fucking happened to their family, and they don't even know it. I'm a thorn in their foot of dysfunction. And I laid all this stuff out for Sherry and Sherry was crying, and she realized, yes, this is true, that I am trying to be healthy. I'm trying to show that you can love one another without keeping score, which is the healthy thing to do. But I've also been working on this since I was 14. And so, and just recovery in general. I don't like the way that addicts and addict groups use the term recovery, because really recovery, what should be is actually on a measure that Scientologists use, which is about dealing with your bad inner voices, your bad mechanisms, that bad habits that you picked up from your parents. Their backstory is a little different, but the effect is still the same, which is that you have to deal with all these demons, these thoughts and these bad habits in your head, and learn how to do it the right way. And last night when we watched Pinocchio, it was great. We watched some of the making of. They did a short little documentary about the making of it, and one of the things Guillermo talked about was, for him growing up, he didn't get a lot of answers. And a lot of times asking some questions that are taboo are, it's taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to give you a straight answer about it. Nobody wants to dare give the truth or dare speak against, whether it be the church, whether it be the government, or whatever it is. That maybe the government's wrong, that maybe the church is wrong, that maybe your parents are wrong, that maybe your neighbors are wrong. And that's a lot of wrong people, but that's what dysfunction looks like. And that's what a bad machine functions like. There's a lot of losses in a bad machine. There's a lot of just parts that don't work right. So I'll swing this back because the boys are waiting for me to bring in the parts. What's funny is that I love about this machine shop and these guys is that they want to be super precise and exact. And I go, no, I don't need that. No, that's fine. And there's like blemishes and all kinds of other imperfections and things like that. And I go, that's fine. Like this is this is them building the T-yokes for me. And I go, nobody's going to see this part. And then I tell them, I say, I'm actually not even going to finish these. I'm just going to spray paint them black, because again, people are buying things from me for, number one, to support me. Thank you for supporting me and my efforts of the evils of the world. Thank you for helping with that fight. The other one is that they're paying for performance. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for performance, and I back it up with a 3-year warranty, which nobody else does. And that's because I build it right and I build it the way that it's supposed to be built. For the most part, there are some defects. I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to take responsibility for imperfection and things like that. I'm not willing to put up with abuse, and that's where I draw the line. So, but I think it's ironic that the place that I go to is just two easygoing guys that appreciate me and the business that I give them and my company, and it's a really good partnership, and I really, really enjoy it. And I love seeing these guys. I love doing favors for them, and I would encourage you that to develop more relationships like that. If you're in a relationship, whether your spouse or even your kids, where it's taxing and you feel exhausted, and re-examine that. Re-examine that. You don't have to put up with that stuff. You don't have to be everybody's whore. You don't have to please everybody. That is a really inefficient mechanism, especially when, you get in that weird situation of like, well, I made a baby with this woman and she's a cunt and she's leveraging the baby against me. Give up the baby. Give up the kid. Now, society will make you pay for that, and that's a problem. That's a big problem, because you're making people be, and that goes back to the thing about perfection. that is society's way of saying that you need to do this, whether you like it or not, even if it's unhealthy. And even if you end up enabling that bad behavior of that woman that you got pregnant. See, there's no resolution for that. There's no fixing that. And they don't care. And it's very unfair, and it creates resentment all around, and super dysfunction, and it's terrible. And I would love to help enable people to do that. You can do that, one, by starting to know your rights and the things that you are able to do, and that's in Jalal's book. Again, I'll put a link to that in the description. What is it? Land of the Free, Home of the Slave, on Amazon. Use the link. It's fine. It's fucking great. It's $26. That is probably the best purchase you'll ever make this year. But I just wanted to share that with you, and about the ideas of perfection, and that those things don't exist, and especially demanding that on other people is really a torturous thing, and it's really horrible. I mean, really, that's what fascism is. That's what the Spanish Inquisition was. We love Jesus so much, we're going to conquer your nation and make you worship God the way that we say you should worship God. That's crazy. That's crazy. And of course, there's an alternative motive, which is world domination and enslavement. And that's what these little audio companies do. And that's what fucking when you want to buy a car, that's what they do. When you want to do any sort of business, that's what they do. And that's why me getting any kind of money is dangerous to those people. And I was thinking about this the other night, about really the only people that find me dangerous or don't like me are liars. People, and then people that lie for a living, like Scott Dilbeck. That's what he does. He's a salesman. He's a creepy tool salesman. And he could sell new or used cars. It doesn't matter. He's gonna be slippery, slimy, whatever it takes to get that sale and lock you into a commitment that you probably shouldn't be in. That's who Scott Dilbeck is. And he's proud to be that way. Good for him. All I want to do is expose that. And he makes a really great example of that. He's like, and sometimes he'll be like, oh, shucks, I'm not like that. Or I'm just a humble salesman. No, he's not. No, he's not. And again, this is what Steve Mead is. This is what even Tony DeMore is. Tony wants, what's funny is, I think Steve makes more money than Tony. There's some facts. I think, if anything, Tony only makes more money because of Diamond Box, because Steve doesn't have anything to do with Diamond Box. But the group projects they do, Steve is the reseller. He's the retailer. He's the one that makes more money. And what I find is really funny is, if you noticed yesterday on that OFC versus CCA video that I did, and then I steal it as a pick, it was fucking great. One of the other videos that it was suggesting that I watch is the one where he gets mad about Amazon people stealing from him. And I'm like, oh, I don't encourage that, but I'm certainly laughing at his expense and his misery. Oh, by the way, speaking of laughing at other people's misery, don't forget to watch Trevor Noah's special on Netflix. It just came out. It's really interesting, and it's one of the things that Jon Stewart talked about, which makes him a really great replacement on The Daily Show, was that Trevor brings a worldview that Jon could not represent. And that's what's kind of, it seems a little misty. It's not exacting of the way that Trevor sees things and the way that Trevor tells jokes and things like that in his perspective. But he's always interesting. That's what Dave Chappelle said about him. Trevor's not the funniest guy, but he has a great perspective that most of us will never have, just because he's been exposed to worlds that we will never see. And the special is really great, though. And the closing story, the closing joke is awesome, and it sticks with you. But again, I'll put a link to that in the description and some other stuff. I got to go inside. I love you guys. Thank you for spending this 19 minutes with you. I hope this drives you absolutely crazy. It's going to stay there for months until Sherry has the strength and the willpower and the stamina. She's suffering from long COVID. And thank you for everybody for your well wishes. But mostly, I would love to talk to somebody about getting her on disability, because otherwise, she is not going to recover from this. And it's a drain on my finances and my life, and I love her, but I would love some help from the government. But anyways, if anybody can get me in the right direction, that'd be great. I also like the ADA Defender guy on TikTok. I'll put a link to him. Watch his videos. He's fucking great. I love the superhero business that he's in. But anyways, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.